Hey there, Rulers, DMO73 here, bringing you the deck profile for the Duo Elektra deck you saw played last week. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Ruler School is brought to you by Odyssey Games, where you can go to pre-order upcoming Force of Will sets, ccgprime.com for singles and supplies, cardodoko.com for those rulers in the international market looking for product, the Ruler School Circuit Series now offering our 2024 Quarter 1 circuit kits, and our guest lecturer members, Fight Ramen. Class is in session. So here you have the list. As always, you can check the link in the description to go straight to it on Force of Wind, and be sure to check out the links in the description below to get your pre-orders for Pilgrim Memories and let your LGS know about the orders for our circuit kits. We hope to get those out to you by the end of January. So we are taking a look at the Elektra rebuild because of the new Duo Elektra Resonator. We talked about this a lot in the podcast. It's about thinking that it might be best to set up as just starting as Vega and going into Elektra, but I think we showed pretty clearly with Ren that you do not need to do that. You still get a lot of power out of this Resonator. It does a lot of crazy work and allows you to make use of both the Armament EX deck and just grabbing whatever armaments, the most powerful ones, out of your sideboard in a way that is pretty aggressive. So obviously going into the build, let's talk about the armament deck first. These are ones that you don't really mind starting with, but you don't really need them to get started. So every one of them is pretty good. So we have bow and arrow, battle flag, rough magic stone, warhorn, headband, rapier, and then there is something to be said about maybe moving amulet orb to the side deck and replacing it with something like the earrings into the armament deck, but it's a matter of is that the right swap? You have to have exactly 7. Where is it going to go? You can't play duplicates, so it's kind of meta dependent what you think you're going to see, whether or not getting amulet orb guaranteed is necessary or being able to protect yourself from burn is necessary. And then the side deck obviously is your relevant high armaments as well as a Vega to be able to go into that after the Resonator gets murdered. We also are playing in the sideboard the EX of Chain Sickle, which is long sword, and flame earrings as the ones that we are grabbing most often for free and immediately upgrading them. There's just so much immediate value to be gained from getting those. And then main deck, we're playing 2 copies of Elektra, the Resonator itself as a nice kind of finisher, and then 3 copies of each contract, 4 of the Elektra and Vega Resonator. This card is an absolute powerhouse in the deck, being able to get those armaments out as well as serve as spot removal and closing out games if your life total is higher, which is just really nice. A copy of Inferno, just because sometimes you get paired up against a deck where you're like, you have a lot more life than me, like something like Typhon, and you want to be able to reset the board or reset the life total. A little bit of interaction in the form of a couple Persephones and a couple Lorites. We really only can hit those off of our Moonshades though, so it doesn't make too much sense to dig into them. We're also playing 4 copies of Kilo of Fossil Girl to help facilitate that, because we also have all red and we can just play just red using Fossil Girl, which is nice. Like I said, 3 copies of each contract, 4 copies of both clowns, and then we kind of fill out the deck list from there. The sideboard would probably have more Witch of the Fallen Kingdoms for Pumpkin Witch and stuff. I just didn't put it into this deck list. So you can imagine if we're seeing a 1 of Black Witch in the main board, it's probably because you would imagine to see a couple more Black Witches and a Pumpkin Witch in the board. A couple of fire extracts here in the sideboard in the main deck, just in case we do flip over, but it is nice to be able to cycle. And then you have this additional reach in the form of Blade Dance, because you get so many armaments in this deck, which is insane. And then also a couple copies of Blade Shower to be able to spot remove big boards, as well as again some reach with the form of Demon of the Crimson Moon. This guy gets very, very cheap and just hits stuff really hard, including your opponent, which can just close out the game. You also saw we were playing a single copy of Rogue Spectator in the sideboard. We just again didn't put that here in the deck list to show you because it's a pretty generic ad. So that is the list. Again, you can check the link straight for it in the Force of Wind in the comment section down below, but let us know how you have been playing Elektra in the comment sections as well. And until next time, this is GMO73 saying class dismissed.